Hello everyone. In today's video, I will go over a strategy that is relatively cheap and gives decent returns. I'm talking about essences in combination with incursion. I did some testing and came to the conclusion that this combination can be very effective. Let me quickly go over the Atlas tree. For incursion, we take just in time. While oligarchs, this is optional. I usually like this node, but you don't have to take that. Artifacts of the Var, treasure hunt. This node is theoretically optional as well, but I thought to myself, if I'm already doing incursion, why not just take it as well? There can be some good loot that comes out of these treasures. Resource reallocation, contested development, and time dilation. For essences, I spec into prolific essence, of course, crystal lattice, and I take all the small nodes here. This node, I'm not entirely sure if it is good or not. I did some testing and I found that even with my tanky character, I'm dying a lot to the boss of the map that I will recommend to you later. So I decided to spec out of it, but if you can take this node and not die a lot, feel free to take it. Of course, the last node would be amplified energies. For Scarabs, I decided to take Skittering Swarms. I took the devoted carcasses over here for more ambush, harbinger, and domination Scarabs. Skittering champions, remarkable relics, and amplified artifacts. For additional map modifier effects, I take mounting modifiers, invasive adversaries, and chiseled perfection. And for some extra quantity, I take these small nodes over here, of course. The mechanics I decided to roll away because I do not want to get bad Scarabs are Heist, Delirium, Blight, Ritual, Legion, Expedition, Abysses, and Breaches. And of course, for the altars, I decided to go with the blue altars. I got 3 divine altars this league, so I'm going to stick to them. Pretty simple: Shadow of Hunger and Rampant Growth plus Eldritch Gaze. This is the Atlas tree that I'm using for the strategy. Okay, let me quickly go over the Scarabs. I'm using a Essence Scarab of Ascent, 2 regular Essence Scarabs, a Essence Scarab of Stability, and a Incursion Scarab of Champions. But this one is more or less optional depending on your clearing strategy. If you just go into the incursion, kill the architect, and go out again, I would not recommend this. But if you clear the incursion fully, I would recommend this 100%. This Scarab is interesting as well and should be considered depending on how much you want to spend. Incursion Scarab of Timelines, final architect slain in area will drop an itemized temple. Itemized temples dropped in area are generated based on current temple layout, but with randomized room tiers. So this basically means if you have a Game Cutter's Workshop, for those of you who do not know that, a Game Cutter's Workshop leads to a Durianis Institute, and a Corruption Chamber leads to a Locus of Corruption. Durianis Institute gets currently valued at 70 Chaos Orbs, and the Locus of Corruption currently gets valued at 130 Chaos Orbs. If you have both, you can ask for a divine. So if you have either a Game Cutter's Workshop or a Corruption Chamber, I would recommend that if you have the currency to invest a Incursion Scarab of Timelines, because you have the chance to get the Durianis Institute, and the Durianis Institute pays for 3 of these Scarabs. Map recommendation would be the Glacier map. This map is very small and pretty condensed, so it's pretty easy to kill everything and finish the map in a timely fashion. Okay, let me quickly go over the cost. If we are doing a run without the Incursion Scarab of Timelines, we would roughly pay 23 Chaos Orbs, 6 Chaos Orbs for the map device craft essences, and for the other Scarabs. If we decide to include the Incursion Scarab of Timelines, I would remove the Essence Scarab of Stability, and we would pay 42 Chaos Orbs. Okay? Enough theory talk, let me show you an actual run. I run the Glacier map with a Incursion Scarab of Timelines just to show you how this actually works. And I will use 2 Essence Scarabs, a Essence Scarab of Ascent, and a Incursion Scarab of Champions. And we will use the Essence Map Device Craft plus Eater of Worlds. Do this. Okay, this is the loot that I got out of the map. As you can see here, a decent amount of essences, some regular currency, and we got lucky with the Chronicle. We got a Durianis Institute at tier 3 and a Locus of Corruption at tier 3. As you can see here, this temple is finished, but it has the Gamecutter's Workshop at tier 1 and the Catalyst of Corruption at tier 2. This is the perfect example of how the Scarab can make you a lot of currency if you get lucky. We had the two bases, we had the Gamecutter's Workshop, which leads into the Durianis Institute, and the Catalyst of Corruption, which leads to the Locus of Corruption. Our regular temple, in our regular temple, they did not reach tier 3, they reached tier 2 and tier 1. But with the randomizer, they both reached tier 3, and this Chronicle is roughly worth a Divine Orb. Let's go to Wealthy Exile. Wealthy Exile evaluates this stash tab at 1.3 Divine Orbs, and I think for one run, this is pretty good. If you want to increase your currency gains even more, I would recommend that you get Remnants of Corruptions. I purposefully did not use any remnants of corruptions because I wanted to let you guys see how much currency you can actually make without using them. The only remnant of corruption that I used was the one that actually dropped from an essence. But yeah, this is pretty much the strategy. I think this is decent for a map run, and it's not too expensive as well. I think even if you go for 42 Chaos Orbs, this is a reasonable strategy. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Okay, that concludes the video. I hope you guys found it informative. If you did, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. It would help out a lot. And if you have any suggestions or you just want to let me know how the strategy worked out for you, please leave a comment, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a nice day, guys. Goodbye.